Hello folks, how you doing out there? Welcome to the channel once again. We're going to show some vinyl finds as we always do. I have a lot to get to, so let's just jump into this thing mad, shall we? We're going to start with this record right here, Michael Jackson's Thriller. This is an album that's been getting a lot of videos lately. This particular pressing has. This is the MoFi pressing of it. The Ultra Disc One Step from MoFi pressing of this album, remastering of it, and of course spectacular look on the back there. Very excited to get this. I originally wasn't planning on getting this, and I went into one of the stores I frequent for record store day, but this is in the afternoon, late afternoon, and just to see what record store day stuff they had left over, just to thumb through it, maybe, and you know, browse the store. I was shocked to find that they had 4 copies of this available for sale. I did not expect to see this at that store, because if they bring in something brand spanking new, it's usually the typical reissue stuff you can see for like $30, $40. Was not expecting to see this. I just kept looking at it and looking at it, and it's a pretty expensive album to purchase. And at first I was like, I don't know if I can afford quite that much. And as I started browsing, I just said, you know what, screw it. You only live once, and I know this is going to be something I'm dying to hear. So, as expensive as it was, I pulled the trigger on it. And wow, I love the pressing of this album, of this pressing of Thriller. It sounds great. It sounds absolutely great. My only regret is I can't repeat that first time ever again. That was just magic to hear it for the very first time. Here's the inner that comes out of the slip box, and of course we have all the track listing in gold letters here. Really, really cool how they did that, actually. I like that. Let me just, I mean, there's been a lot of unboxing of this already, so I'm sure you already know what it looks like, but I'll just go through it quickly. They have this printing of the album cover included, and a reproduction of the gatefold. So, and it's on a real nice cardstock. You get a lyric sheet that's on a very thick cardstock. So, we've seen that a lot of times. But really cool to see have it presented on this thick cardstock. It looks really nice, actually. And our album protector. And then we got the, well, you know, the MoFi inner sleeve here. And here is the album. And beautiful album it is. Just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful album. Yeah, I can't say enough about this. The mix is great. Oops, upside down. The mix on this is just fantastic. I love how it sounds. I love how it, even on my modest, humble little sound system, it sounds great on my thing. I don't have any high-dollar, high-tech sound system I play my records on. Just a very basic turntable, my old Marantz receiver, and three-way stereo speakers, and it sounds great in here. Oh my God, this sounds so good in here. And like I said, I love this new remastering of it. It's not. It almost sounds like a remix. I gotta admit, when you play it and listen to it for the first time, it hit me like it was a remix, because it sure sounds that way. I know it's not. It's just a remastering from the original tapes, from the original analog tapes, master tapes, and they transfer it. Well, let's look at it on here. And of course it's transferred to DSD 256, and from there it goes into an analog console, and from there it goes to the lathe. So So there is some digital handiwork in the chain, but it's just a high resolution or high, whatever you want to call, really good sample of the original master into a digital file, gone into their analog console, and then they do the work on it as they traditionally do at Mo-Fi. So it sounds great. The original is really compressed. The original pressing of it way back in the 80s. It sounded really compressed because it was a dance record and they wanted to emphasize the kick and the snare and Michael's voice in the middle, so it'll just punch you. So so you get that compressed sound. What this does, it just opens the sound up like this, and now you can hear the separation of instruments. You could hear those little sounds in the background with a little bit more detail, a little bit more clarity, like shakers and finger snaps and distant keyboards, and it just makes it sound. They just open up the soundscape and it just sounds fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And you can hear all the little detail that I could never hear before in the original pressing because it's so compressed. Now that they opened up the sound, you can hear so much with such detail. It's hard to describe. It's hard to describe how cool this sounds, but trust me, it sounds cool. It's just a different way of listening to this album. Basically, you have a different option of how you want to hear it. Now, whether you want to pay somewhere between $100 and $200 just to hear it, well, that's your decision. But if you do decide to pull the trigger on this, you will not be disappointed. It sounds fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And though it was an expensive buy, I'm so happy I did it because I bought this yesterday, and I've already listened to the whole thing in its entirety like 3 or 4 times. Once to the speakers, once on headphones, and the next couple times just fast tracking to my favorite songs. I'm just so happy I have this. I can't even put it into words. So Mo-Fi pressing of Michael Jackson's Thriller, probably my favorite record of the year. All right, let's go to something brand new now. Let's get our head out of the 80s. This is an 80s band, but a new record from an 80s band. Simple Minds, Direction of the Heart. Brand new record from them. And a very good brand new record from them too. Vision thing is fantastic. First You Jump sounds great. They actually played that on the Juice Holland show. And there's a video of it on YouTube of the band playing it live, and they sound great on it. Human Trafficking is good as well. Human Traffic, I should say. Really good album. It's good to get some brand new Simple Minds. They still sound relevant. And they're not some old fart band. They sound relevant. They sound brand new and exciting. And this is such a good release from them. I love this album. I've been spinning this quite a bit. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun listening to this record. It's so good. So it's nice to have them back. And hopefully they tour America so I can see them again. Or see them, period. I've never seen them before. I don't know why I said again. I've never seen them once. Definitely hope they play a lot of songs from this album if they ever come to America or Northern California. I'll definitely buy a ticket to that. And this new lineup they have, I really like it. There's only 2 original members of this band. The rest are brand new members. And they sound great together. And it shows on this album. It's a really good album. And the energy on it is just fantastic. So, really great new songs from from Simple Minds. I get those 2 bands confused for some reason. Just fantastic stuff. So, Simple Minds, brand new album, great stuff. Okay, this is a record store day find. I was able to score. Was surprised there was some left over, but this band's not really very popular in my neck of the woods, so that's why I was able to score a copy. From Ultravox, Rage in Eden. This is the Steven Wilson stereo mix on clear vinyl. It comes with 2 LPs. One is the album version that was remastered by Steven Wilson, and then the second LP is an instrumental version of this album. So really beautiful looking record. Look at that. That's nice, and it sounds fantastic. So I love these. I had the last record store day purchase from Ultravox, which was Vienna, and that one sounded great too. It's the same thing, clear vinyl, and they had an instrumental disc. And in fact, just say I showed everything. This is the instrumental disc, which I have not listened to yet because I wanted to give the album version of it, the vocal version of it, more listen. So I've yet to go to the instrumental one, but I'm sure it'll sound great. Yeah, come on, get in there. This sounds fantastic. I've actually never owned this album before, so I wasn't really that familiar with it, to be honest with you. So it was kind of a brand new listen to me since I never owned this album before and didn't really quite remember it. But like I said, I collected the last release they had, so I thought it'd be cool to have this one, and I'm glad I did because it sounds fantastic. I love the music on it. Unfortunately, it's missing a couple of songs from the original. It is missing the song The Voice and I Remember Death in the Afternoon. Those 2 songs are missing from this because the original recordings were missing, so they couldn't do a brand new stereo mix for those songs, so they were left off this album, which kind of ticked off a lot of fans because they wanted the whole album, even if those 2 songs weren't represented in a new stereo mix. They at least wanted them on there. I can understand why they left it off. If you're looking to update the sound, and it's impossible to update 2 songs, I can see why they left it off. It doesn't really bother me as much, but I think a lot of fans it does bother them. So it just depends on how you feel about that, I guess. It doesn't bother me as much. And I actually enjoy this record. Knowing that there's 2 songs missing from it, it doesn't ruin my enjoyment of it. I think it's still a great album. I'm very happy to own it. So yeah, from Ultravox. Here's something, another remix, not remix, but remaster, from an older record, from an artist that we actually lost in August of this year, is Olivia Newton-John. And this just came out. This is her greatest hits, parts 1 and part 2, in a 2-record set for the first time. So excited to have this. Part 1 was her country hits, which came out in the early to late 70s. And then part 2 is her kind of rock pop songs in 2 songs from the movie Grease. All remastered, and it's also on colored vinyl, so I'll show you the first disc, part 1, which, like I said, are the country songs. There's the insert for it, and it is on blue vinyl. So all the country songs are on blue vinyl. Very pretty color, actually. And I really noticed the remastering on the country songs a lot more. They just stand out a lot more. So they really did improve the sound of them. I am no country music fan, to tell you the truth, to be honest with you. I'm not a fan of country music at all, but these country songs on part 1 sound so good, and her voice is amazing on them. It really benefited from a remastering because her voice is so good. And it really brings out the emotions. I mean, I get emotional when I hear her country songs. And like I said, I'm not a fan of country music, but boy, when they sound that good, I mean, good is good. Whether you're into the style of music or not, good is just good, and there's no denying it. All right, here's part 2 of her greatest hits. Now these are the rock and pop songs, like the songs from Grease, Physical, Xanadu, Magic, those songs, and many others. This is on a pink vinyl, just like the record's, the inner sleeve there. So let me just make sure I'm right side up here. There we go. So on pink vinyl, I don't notice the remastering as much on this as I do the country songs. But they do sound good on here, and her voice sounds amazing as always. I gotta be honest with you, I think I prefer listening to the country songs on this collection more than I do the rock and pop songs. They sound great, and I love these, you know, these photos of Olivia. One from the early 70s, one from ending with the 80s here. So just shows all the different looks she had throughout the years. There's the back. That's a good idea there. I like that touch. And of course, I like the gatefold picture as well. Very, very nice. Very good collection. I love this. I mean, I had both parts 1 and 2 on vinyl, black vinyl, old copies from back in the day. But it does sound cool to hear them remastered and repolished to sound almost new or newish. It's not. They did a good job. Like I said, I noticed the remastering more on the country hits than I did the rock and pop songs. But her voice just sounds fantastic on all of these. She had the most beautiful singing voice. I swear, that woman could not hit a wrong note even if she tried. And it really shows on this collection. I'm so happy to have this. So happy. Okay, another used record. This one's pretty cool. This is a Japanese pressing from the Honey Drippers. And it's just called Volume 1. Japanese pressing. I love the Obi strip. You know, I've never owned this album either. And I only knew 2 songs from this, which was Sea of Love and Rockin' at Midnight, which are 2 songs I actually do like. And the rest of the album kind of is not bad. I think my 2 favorite songs are Sea of Love and Rockin' at Midnight. Those are still my favorite songs. There's the insert here. Plant page. And what the hell is it? Niles something. I can't remember his name now. Nile Rodgers, I believe his name is, from Chic. Sorry, my mind just went blank on his name. Anyway, here's the insert. Well, the Japanese writing that I can't read. But it's nice to see it included. And here is the vinyl. Really cool looking label. I like the label on this. Looks really nice. And I remember this came out back in the day, and I remember it got a lot of criticism from the Zeppelin fans. To them, this sounded like such a sellout record. And this was like back in the early 80s, like 83 or 84. I'll be honest, I think I admitted this in the last video or a couple of videos before. Back in the 80s, I had no idea who Led Zeppelin was. I was introduced to their music after being a fan of Robert Plant's solo albums. And as far as I was concerned, Robert Plant was a brand new solo artist who was completely brand new to me. It was my brothers who educated me, saying, no, he's from Led Zeppelin. And I gotta be honest, I didn't know who Led Zeppelin was. Since they played me some of their songs, and I was like, oh, okay. And which, it's weird where it didn't really mean that much to me because I knew Robert Plant as a solo artist. I was like, what do you mean he was in a band before? Like, oh, well, that's pretty cool too. Zeppelin music's pretty cool too. Anyway, I remember fans of Zeppelin hated this record with a passion. And I never understood it because I thought it was really nice sounding music. I didn't understand why they hated it so much. I do now. But back then, I just didn't get it. All right. Some R&B albums. A couple of my favorites because it reminds me of my childhood. Ladies Night from the band Kool and the Gang. I basically bought this for the song Too Hot, which closes the album. Too Hot has to be one of my favorite songs from the band. Probably my all-time favorite song from Kool and the Gang. Though they had a lot of hits, and they were good songs. Here's the back of it. Too Hot has to be, such a cool, laid-back, mellow jam. And yeah, I just think it's a really good song. And my favorite, like I said, my favorite from the band. This is on the Delight label, as most of the records are from the Delight label, so cool to see that. And of course, the song Ladies Night is really cool. But this whole album is actually really fun to listen to. Some great R&B dance tracks on here. Got You Into My Life is one of them. If You Feel Like Dancing, Hanging Out. And these are some cool songs from a very cool album. So, and like I said, it reminds me of my childhood. I think this came out in '78. And I remember when these songs were brand new. And it just took me back. It really took me back to just being a kid and listening to my brothers and sisters, my sister's records. Or I think they might have had this on 8-track or something. But such a good album. Such a good album. Kool and the Gang, Ladies Night. Okay, here's one I owned for the first time. I've never, and it's an older album. It's from Earth, Wind & Fire. It's called Faces. Not one of the more popular Earth, Wind & Fire albums, as this one really didn't contain any real hits. But I'm telling you, the music on here is really good. Really good. And I personally think the music on here is very catchy. But that's just me. There's the gatefold, really nice. Interesting looking gatefold. All the things I like about Earth, Wind & Fire as far as their music and their songwriting and their musicianship is on this record. It's a really good record. Unfortunately, it wasn't a, here's the insert, it wasn't a commercially successful record, but it is a good listen. If you're in the if you pour yourself a nice drink in the music room and just let it spin and it'll tell you its story and put you through the fills. I mean, it's a good record. It's a good record to sit back with, and I really enjoyed it. I just wish it was a little bit more popular than it is. It's not a very popular record for Earth, Wind & Fire, but I remember in interviews, Maurice White always said this was one of his favorite albums from the band, and I could see why. The music's really good on this. That song Let's Talk, which was the first single for this album, and opens it's the first track on the album. Sounds so good. It's one of my favorite. I love the energy of it, and this whole album has a great energy, and like I said, the musicianship is really good on it. So too bad this one just wasn't popular. It wasn't really popular with their record label either. They had to go back to writing hits, and then the year after this they released the song Let's Groove. That was a big hit for them, and that's how the record company wanted it. Let's go back to making hits, none of this artistic stuff that doesn't sell a lot of copies and we can't play on the radio. Too bad they didn't make another one of these types of albums, because they did a really good job with this one. So Faces from Earth, Wind & Fire. Great album. Last one up. I think this is just self-titled. Right? Yeah, well anyway, it's from Jeff Beck. Let's take out the... I think it's just self-titled. I don't think there was an actual album name on here. Oh, There and Back. Oh, all I had to do was read the back of this. I was like looking for the title on the front of it. There and Back from Jeff Beck. And as you can see, it's on the Epic label. The reason I bought this, I mean, I do like Jeff Beck's playing, but a few weeks ago, I was on, here's the insert, I was really on a big Simon Phillips kick. I was watching a lot of his drum videos on YouTube, a lot of his instructional videos on YouTube, because Simon Phillips is one of my favorite drummers, and he plays drums on this record. And it made me want to go out and go buy this record so I can listen to the drumming of Simon Phillips, because I'm such a huge fan of that guy's drumming, the way he plays. And he's all over this record. And his drumming's fantastic on this album. And this album is fantastic. I really dug it. There was one song that he did feature on his instructional videos for, I think is You Never Know, or was it The Pump? I can't remember. Where where the drumming was very basic, because the lesson was, you don't have to show off all the time. When you're laying down drum tracks, you can keep it basic as long as it serves the song. And then an example was a song from this record, but his drumming's fantastic on all of this. I mean, yeah, Jeff Beck is fantastic on this album as well, and this is a very good album. It's instrumental rock, but it's really interesting. I mean, I gotta listen to this again. I listened to it a couple times when I first got it. I've had this for a while, for like a few weeks, and then all these new records, I kind of got off listening to it again. But a very good album from Jeff Beck. And yeah, like I said, the drumming from Simon Phillips is really interesting on this record, so really glad I scored a really good used copy of it. So Jeff Beck, there and back. All right, I'm going to blaze through some 45s that I purchased. Some interesting stuff from the Cars. Just What I Needed, big single from them off their debut album. I love their debut album. It's probably one of the best debut albums from a band you could hear. So really glad to have scored this song. You hear this song a zillion times on classic rock radio. I'll show the label just for shits and giggles. It's on the Elektra label. Really cool. And it is one of my favorite songs from the band. I prefer the song, as far as singles, I think the one I enjoyed the most was Let's Go. But I love this song as well. This is a really good song. I've never seen it on a 45 before, so that's why I could not wait to pull the trigger on this. I saw it on the shelf and I thought, oh wow. Never seen that before, so really cool to have it now. Next up is the band Starship, their song Sarah. I'm not a very big fan of this lineup. Starship from the 80s, I don't know. I do like this song. I was never a big fan of Starship, because it was just a little too commercial, a little too 80s cheesy for my taste. And I love 80s music, but I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. But I did like this song. Sarah's a great song, and the vocals are really good on it. And I actually found it on blue vinyl, which surprised me because I've never seen that before. Look at that. That is so cool. And made me excited to get the 45. And I do like the song. This is an edited version of the song, but it sounds so good. Maybe I should. I mean, I didn't want to buy the whole album. I just like the one song. So I was glad to get the 45. Now this is cool. This I want to show. This is from Foreigner, Jukebox Hero. A classic rock song we've heard so many times. And it's a great song. It's an absolutely great song. But I love the packaging on this 45 because they made it look like a graphic novel. So it has all this comic book artwork. And in the captions we have the lyrics to the song. And basically tells the story through the lyrics. And just to give you an idea what these pictures look like. It is a cool way to package this single. With all this comic book artwork. And the lyrics of the songs are the captions to each picture. Very cool touch. Very cool idea. And of course here's the record. It's a great song from Foreigner too. But we all heard the song. If we all listen to classic rock radio, eventually we'll hear this like 4 or 5 times a day. That's how popular it is on classic rock radio. Back with the song, back with the song, I'm Gonna Win. And I think I showed the wrong side, so here we go. Jukebox Hero. I think I had the wrong side shown, so just to give you guys a look-see. But anyway, the packaging on that I thought was so cool. I've never seen this before, and I just thought, wow, that needs to be in my collection without a doubt, because that just looks too cool. Too cool. It's a little bit bigger than the standard 45 cover, so it's going to fit kind of awkward in the collection, but who cares? I just think it looks so great. And yeah, I'm really glad to have come across this. There's the back of it. This is just awesome. Just awesome. I love the artwork on that. Here's something very rare from Simple Minds. Never seen this on a 45 before. It's obviously an import. And if I can just get it out of here. From Simple Minds, Chelsea Girl. One of their first, I think it's probably their first single or one of their first singles. Chelsea Girl. Great song. Very early days of Simple Minds. I think this came out in 1981 or 1980. Oh no, 79. 1979 is the year on this. Some people didn't even realize the band was that old, but yeah, they are. Back with the song Garden of Hate. And there's our label there from Chelsea Girl from Simple Minds. So I got the new record from Simple Minds and I got their first single on a 45. It was a good dig. Let's put it that way. Actually, this is from this whole pile I'm showing you is as a result of maybe 2 or 3 vinyl digs I did over the last month or so. So I didn't score all these in one day. It took me almost a month to score all these albums. Anyway, let's just keep moving on. This I definitely never seen on a 45, so I love having this in my collection. It's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road from Elton John. Look at that, that's gorgeous. And the back is just advertisements. Elton John recently played his last U.S. date in Dodger Stadium in L.A. I had friends that were lucky enough to score a ticket and went to that, and they were sending me video of it. It looked like an historic concert, because it was. There's the label. Hopefully it's not too dark where you can make out something. Very cool find. Very cool find. I don't think I have any Elton John 45s. This might inspire me to collect more, especially now that he is no longer touring the U.S. anymore. Very nice. Very cool addition to my 45 collection, without a doubt. Gonna keep moving. AC/DC, Who Made Who. I have never seen this on a 45. I do like the song. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest AC/DC fan, but I do like this song. It's really cool. I've always loved the sound of it and the feel of it. And it's on the Atlantic label. Back with the song Guns for Hire is the B-side song. So there we go. Who Made Who from AC/DC. Always cool to collect their 45s because they're kind of rare. You don't really see them around very much. And another from Ultravox for the single Love's Great Adventure. Love's Great Adventure. And the artwork on this 45 is really cool. As you can see on the sticker, it's on clear vinyl. But I want to show the artwork on it. A very nice artwork, a little picture book artwork. And these are the lyrics of the song here. Kind of like the Jukebox Hero in a way. Look at that. Isn't that nice? That's cool. And of course, there's the back of it. And let's get the record out. Oh. And here is the record on clear vinyl. There we go, Love's Great Adventure. On clear vinyl from Ultravox. Back with the song White China is the B-side song. Oh, here we go. Very rare. This is an import, obviously, and very rare vinyl. I've never seen this before, and I like the artwork. The song is actually really good too. I wasn't very familiar with the song when I first bought it, so I got to be honest with you. So it was a blind purchase. I just like the artwork, and I do like Ultravox. With little I have of them, I do like. So I was pretty open to give this a shot, and I'm glad I did. I end up loving the song, and I love the artwork on this 45. It is so cool. So big score in the Ultravox collection. Last one of my favorite bands is the Brothers Johnson. Running for Your Lovin' is the name of the single. Really cool 45. They're one of my favorite bands. R&B and funk band, and this song basically has that R&B and funk sound that they do so well. And let's get it out here. Back with the song Q is the B-side song. Here you go, Brothers Johnson, Running for Your Lovin'. Great fucking R&B and funk track. Back with the song Q. Once again, I don't see their 45s around much. There's the B-side for the song Q. So I grab them if I see them. I mean, it's very rare to find a picture sleeve of their singles too. So that's another plus if I could find it. And yeah, like I said, they're a great band. I love anything I collect from them. There's always a space in my collection for Brothers Johnson, and there's always will be, because they are awesome. Alright, that's going to do it, folks. That is the haul for this video, for this month. Some really cool stuff. Like I said, I'm still over the moon with that Michael Jackson Thriller pressing. That was fantastic. I'm going to be obsessed with that and listening to it over and over and over. I'll probably listen to it again tonight. Alright, that's going to do it. Please leave me some comments so we can have a little chat about music and what you saw here. And hope everyone's doing well. See you at the next video, folks. Goodbye.